Hello, hello, hello. Hey, welcome to our weekly live training here in our Authority on LinkedIn Facebook group. This group is dedicated to all entrepreneurs out there who wants to learn on how to leverage on LinkedIn, right? To get more leads, to get more sales by utilizing LinkedIn as the platform of choice. And we always believe that in Popcorn, one of the ways, one of the best way for you to be able to get more leads and sales in today's world, right? When you're trying to sell in today's world, is by establishing your authority, by establishing your impact, by establishing your credibility as the thought leader, as the go-to person, as the subject matter expert in your industry. Because we believe that when you have established some form of authority, rather than you going out there trying to figure out how to get more sales, the sales and lead will come to you instead, because people know that you're the subject matter expert, people know that you're the authority figure, and people would want to come to you instead, right? In Popcorn, one of the things that we've always tell our student is that you want to make sure that when you write your content, when you're creating content, your content has a purpose. Okay, your content is designed for some specific purpose. Either one of the purpose that you can do and that you can leverage on when it comes to creating a content is to build your authority. That's one of the purpose that you're doing content, right? Establish trust, getting people to get to know you, getting more eyeball into your product and services, getting more eyeball into you, right? So besides that, there's this one thing that we've always shared and also teach to our students is that whenever you want to create content, one of the biggest purpose that you want to do is that you want to use your content as a way for you to be able to shift the belief of your specific ideal client. Now, before I talk about shifting belief, I want to put like a little bit of context in terms of in terms of the current condition of content today. Okay, let's talk about this. What can you do as an entrepreneur for you to shift your audience belief? Okay, here's the challenge when it comes to content in 2023. Almost a lot of people have already realized the importance of creating content. I mean, it's especially after you've already gone to the pandemic, right? 2 years of getting stuck at home and trying to get more eyeball for your business, you will start to realize that content is king. Content is something that you cannot avoid if you really want to establish authority. If you really want to get more leads and sales for your business right now, it is very important for you to basically learn to generate and create content for your business, right? But here's the thing: because of the level of awareness of content creation is getting more and more, right? There's a lot more people are getting used to this idea that, you know what, I get it, I understand that content creation is important. So a lot of people are trying to just push their luck and they start creating content. Okay. So they kind of like copy paste the formula on YouTube, and then they go to YouTube and say, okay, YouTube, tell me, I need to make sure that I need to create educational content. So they start creating all of this educational content as well, right? They copy and paste from almost everywhere, and then after that, start putting this content up as if this content is theirs. Yeah, I get that. As someone who is preaching about content creation, we have to acknowledge the fact that educational content does create a certain amount of value. Okay, when you create content that educates, when you create content that shares input, it gives the client an idea in terms of how they can solve the problem, right? But ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the year 2023. Okay, so you have to understand that in the year 2023, when the economy is already opening up, right, and a lot more people are starting to realize the importance of content, and they are trying to do the same thing as well. Content is like almost everywhere right now. Almost every person that I've been speaking to in the last few years since the pandemic have already realized that they need to create content online. So they started to do this, okay? There are people who are still struggling, okay? I'm not talking about those group of people. I'm talking about those group of people who are already in their journey of creating content. How do we actually become better than them in terms of our content delivery? Yeah? Because if you take a look at it, either you like it or not, all of this content that is available online is available online. I can just Google it if I need to, right? Now that we have Chat GPT, that's going to, guys, ChatGPT is definitely going to change everything within the industry in terms of how people do content, right? Information is almost everywhere, and it's just like this. You can just get it just like that, right? So the question that we need to ask right now is, knowing that information is already everywhere, what do I need to do differently with my content so that I can stand out differently and being noticed more in comparison to the other people who are doing it out there? Here's the thing, almost everybody knows the formula. You can get all this information for free. You can just go out there and say, you know what? How do I attract people with my content? You know, I need to have a hook. I need to have like a photo that can connect with people, right? That people can relate to. Because when people are scrolling in my content, the one thing that I need to do is I need to get them to stop scrolling first. That's one of the things I need to do. Then after they stop scrolling, what do I need to do after that? Here's the problem as well. When I noticed that I noticed that a lot of them are teaching you how to stop people from scrolling and grab their attention. But not many gurus are telling you and teaching you how do we get them to continue reading so that they are compelled to want to have conversations with you. This is the part that a lot of people don't teach, right? So tonight's session, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys like a small piece of information on that and how to do this, okay? And this is something that we teach our student in the 14 Years program in more extensive and more detail in it, right? Content framework does help. You know, at the end of the day, there's certain framework that works, okay? And I'm very sure that a lot of you guys have seen some of this content framework. I'm going to show you guys one of the examples of the common content framework that's available out there. The question right now is not the framework. The question right now is, what do I need to put inside that framework so that when people read, they want to continue reading, and then they want to have conversations with you. Because when they want to have conversations with you, that's when buying conversation happens, right? So what I realized with a lot of the, you know, content creation tips out there is that they give you the framework, but a lot of times when people just take the stuff from YouTube and try to implement it, they do not know how to implement it, and this framework is not fully utilized. So it's not the framework's fault. It's not your fault. It's because a lot of people do not know how to do this, right? They don't know what needs to be put into the framework so that that particular content, especially when you're doing copywriting, right? It will help you to establish your authority, right? It will help you to be able to get those leads. It will help you to generate buying conversation. So that is the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. So for us, it's important for you to shift belief with content, right? Very, very important. If people aren't taking action on your content after you've been like consistently been doing it, you're putting out the content out there, and people are not taking action on it, then there's one thing I feel that perhaps could be lacking in your content. And what would that be? Is that your content is not shifting the belief of your audience. Okay. So I'm going to explain to you guys exactly how to do this. So I'm going to talk about the shifting belief. And then at the same time, I'm going to give you guys like some framework of copywriting. Yeah, there's 6-step framework. I'm just going to generally just kind of like share you guys how to do this. And if you want more in that detail on it, you guys can always talk to us. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing I want you guys to think about it. If people need what you offer, if people need it, and if they have to buy it, and then they are not buying it, most of the time, there's only one reason why that's happening. Because they do not believe in it, right? Like the word belief itself, right? They don't yet believe that whatever that you guys are offering is actually good to get them the result that they wanted. So let's just say if you're a photographer and then they look into your content and they're not taking action, it's because they don't believe that you are a good photographer. If you are an insurance agent, right, and they look into their content, they might not believe that you are the insurance agent of choice for them. That could be one of it. So here's the thing, it's such a fundamental thing that needs to go in all our content, but a lot of people don't know how to do this, right? One of the fundamental things that you need to do when it comes to content is that we need to learn to shift people's belief, shift their perception, right? Now, when I started doing this a long, long time ago, I didn't know how to do this. I didn't know about this for years. So one of the biggest problems that I do for years whenever I'm doing content, right, and I'm wondering why is it that I was not landing it, why I'm not getting like all of this buying conversation. What I'm wondering, why is it that I'm not getting any engagement? It's just simply is because whenever I'm creating content, I'm focusing too much on just educating people about stuff, but I'm not really focusing on shifting their belief about specific things. So I wonder why people weren't reaching out to work with me, and it's because they didn't believe that what I was offering was actually going to work for them, right? Whatever that I was offering was actually going to get them a results because I hadn't laid it out in my content. Not your fault, guys. I went through the same thing. Okay, if you guys are going through that, right? Maybe because you have not learned on how to do it. Yeah. So when I learned on how to do it, it was such a game changer. Now that I can see it, right? One of the things that I also realized is that whenever I'm studying other people's copywriting, right? Whenever I'm seeing people's content, even video content and all that, I'm able to see how other people are doing it. Okay. Now I kind of like see it everywhere in websites, writings, in almost everyone who is in the content writing industry, and they are very good at it. They understand this concept, the belief shifting, right? Belief shifting, very important. Now, the one thing that we can do in our content to make it a more compelling to get people to action, it's not just about attracting people, right? Because a lot of times when you do content, right? And whenever you go for like a content training, they always tell you, yeah, you need to have like a good hook. We get that. Now, it's not just about attracting people, guys, right? Attracting people to come to your content is just one thing. But how do we get them to stay, continue reading, and wanting to engage in conversation? That's the second and third thing that you wanted to do, right? So we want to gain their attention and maintain that attention, but to actually get them to take some action. That's the one most important thing that you wanted to do. So action when it comes to your content can be in many ways. Either they are, writing comments, liking your content, or even DMing you for conversation. Those are action takers. We want them to start taking action, right? So we want them to reach out and want to jump on, I don't know, if after they've consumed your content, you want people to jump into a call with you, right? Or after going and consuming your content, they want to attend your online training. They want to attend your online workshop, right? They want to download your free resources. Those are the things that you want, right? Those are action steps that you want to get whenever people are going to your content, right? So whatever our next action step is going to be in our content, then we need to kind of like find a way to shift someone's perspective. And you might be wondering, like, what actually is belief shifting content? So basically, belief shifting content is content that can shift someone's belief about different things, right? So one of the beliefs that usually I want to get them to address is the cause of their problem. Okay. So often what happens is, if you think about your ideal client or your favorite client that you love working with, you probably will find that the cause of their problem, the way they describe it when they come to you, is different to the way you describe it. Do you guys realize that? Okay. So even doctors, like doctors, when it comes to a doctor appointment, right? Whenever they go into this, they will see it differently. When the patient see it differently, the doctor see it differently. Question is, why is that? Okay. Because you are the expert. Okay. When you're creating content, when you have been working with people for so many times, you might be able to hear the same problem over and over again, and you kind of like, okay, you know what, this is the problem right now. Just by listening to this, I know exactly what it is, because you are the expert, so you understand the problem intimately. Okay, you understand the problem deeply because you have walked that journey, so that you understand really what the true cause of it is. Okay, so you understand the cause of the problem, what they are currently going through, what they are currently doing to solve the problem. You understand that, right? So perhaps the person who's going through the problem will think that this is the problem, but as the expert, you will actually see it as this, and this is it. So basically, it's like a windscreen wiper lah. Yeah. So in a way, what we want to do is that we want to move people from here to here with the content. Okay. So what they are thinking to be doing to solve the problem, and what they are currently doing to solve the problem. These are the few things you want to take a look into. Yeah. So this is what belief shifting content actually does, right? So in order for you to be able to create a belief shifting content, one of the things that you want to do is that you want to be able to talk about the problem, right? So example, if you are a fitness trainer, what is the problem? Is it really because you're not exercising? It could be a lot of other things, right? So you want to be able to specifically talk about the problem, what's causing it, right? Sound check? Okay, just wanted to double check. So what is causing it? What they think is causing it? And then what we know is the truth of what's causing it from our own experience and expertise. And so you can use this belief shifting content basically almost everywhere when you show up online. Either you're creating content on LinkedIn, you're creating content for your website, right? This belief shifting content formula can work wonders, right? Can use it for web page, guys, for your email marketing. So tonight it's not just about LinkedIn. That is, you can utilize this formula for many things. Yeah, your social media posts, your video, your blog, your scripts, right? Even guys, I even use it in my webinar too. Okay, whenever I come up with my webinars, the structure of my webinar, I will use it in my webinar too. Basically, anywhere that you show up, if you understand how to use this and share it and utilize the framework later that I'm going to show you guys, right? It will make things to become so much easier. So I have this one mentor. His name is Ken Okazaki, right? He at one time he actually told me this, right? There's hard work and there's also guesswork, and then there's framework. Okay, framework, hard work, guesswork, or is it framework? Framework? I don't remember. Okay, so but for me, framework, right? A framework makes everything easier, which is why later on also I will share with you guys this framework, right? And this framework has helped me to really do my copywriting in the most easiest way possible, right? So I implement the shifting belief and the framework together, right? And that's the plan, guys. That's the thing we're going to be covering tonight. How do we actually create a belief shifting content, right? I'm going to give you guys like some formula tonight. I'm going to give you guys like some exercise that will help you guys to create this belief shifting content, okay? Now, the first thing that we need to do, right? Write this down, guys. Just make sure that you guys write this down. The first thing that we need to do if we want to create a belief shifting content, right? What we want to do is that we want to just list down. We want to write down, in your opinion, based on your experience, right? Based on your interaction, based on the feedback that you have with the people, your clients, and all that, right? You want to identify what is the current belief of your ideal client, okay? We want to identify the current belief. Going back to this, why is it important for you to identify the current belief, okay? Now, guys, this is like the basic content framework that a lot of the gurus are sharing out there. There's so many formula out there. There's like FAST formula, IDA format, right? There's just so many of it, okay? But later on, I'm going to be giving you guys my own framework, all right, in terms of how I actually write content. But one of the things that a lot of people are struggling when it comes to writing content is that they do not know what to put inside this formula, okay? So what I'm going to be teaching you guys tonight is this. I'm going to be giving you guys like some input in terms of what to put inside your content, right? And the framework in terms of how I think and how I come up with so many content in a very fast period of time, right? So one of the things that I do every time before I actually want to create content, I will actually go back to the list of the current belief of my clients, okay? And this step number one that I'm showing to you guys right now is always a work in progress list, right? So what I do is that I have like 4 different lists of belief that I will continue to just include into my Excel file, right? And I just put in, okay, this is the current belief that my clients have. So this is a work that I would like to encourage you guys to do as well, right? To identify what are some of the beliefs that your ideal clients might have, and to why is it that it won't work, right? So you have to understand that your client have like, all of your clients will have different beliefs, right? Yeah. So we want to spend some time to identify their current belief. So the first current belief that we want to look into is the current belief that they have about themselves, right? And then the second one is the belief that they have about you, the person's providing, right? The belief that they have about others, about what you offer, belief that you have about your opportunities, your product and services, the belief that they have about your industry. So we want to identify their current belief first. So this is a good exercise for you guys to do, right? So I'm just going to give you guys like some example of this, and how do you can actually apply this back into your real life, into your own content, and when you're doing this exercise. So let's just say this, let's just say you are a coach that sells a program that teach people on how to lose weight. Okay, and then on the sales page, you talk about how your program can help them lose, let's say, maybe 5 to 10 kilo in 3 months. That's your promise, right? That's the kind of promise that you have. So that's a pretty standard promise for a lot of marketers out there when they're selling, weight loss program, right? So the first step, right, that you wanted to do is not to convince people that your program could help them to lose 5 to 10 kilo in 3 months. That's one of the mistakes that a lot of people do in their content. They immediately want to start convincing people. You don't want to do that. Before you want to sell a product, you want to make sure that they can believe that your product can work. Yeah. So first thing, they have to believe that their current situation isn't great. That's the thing you want to do. Okay. So if you want to sell a weight loss program, you need to paint a picture that the current situation is not good for them. And they need to try a different method or try a different way of doing things so that they can get the results. So they need to, first of all, believe that first. Yeah. They also need to believe that if they are going to try a different approach, then it's going to work. And they need to believe that your method is the way to go, guys. Right? I don't know keto, calorie counting, doing more cardio, whatever it is that you guys stand for, right? Okay. They have to believe in it first. So you guys are doing keto and they're trying to promote that. Before you talk about keto, you need to spend some time to overcome the belief that they have about you, right? Whatever it is, yeah? So you might have like a methodology, a method in your weight loss that they've never tried before, or maybe they have tried and they believe, their belief is, I've tried it before and it doesn't work. So we got to spend some time to deal with those beliefs. We also need to convince them that it's actually possible to lose 5 to 10 kilo in 3 months. Let's just say you want to convince them without having to do an hour of cardio a day, having to give up all their favorite food, having to do 0 carbs, whatever it is, yeah? So we got to show them that they don't need to do. So can you see a lot of benefit of shifting that needs to happen? Besides just buying my program, it's not going to work. So all of this comes first in the bloody shifting process. So you got to do this. So you got to shift their belief. You got to do this first. Because if they don't believe that, right? If I don't believe in all those things, it's almost impossible for you to be able to sell your program to me, right? So first thing that you need to do in order for you to identify this belief, right? So you need to write down, you list down, what are some of the beliefs that your ideal clients might have? And then there's 4 areas in total. So the first one is the belief that they have about themselves. Example, you guys, I'm trying to convince you guys to buy my LinkedIn program. Amin's LinkedIn program will not work because it's designed for entrepreneurs only. So therefore, it won't work for me. I'm just a startup company. It's designed for established entrepreneurs only. That could be it. Yeah. How about you guys? For you guys, right? Write this down. It won't work for me because, what would that be? You list down as much as you can. Yeah. So you start with that first question first. What are the beliefs that they have about themselves? So I'm going to give you guys some example. Okay, it won't work for me because I'm an introvert. It won't work for me because I'm really not good at tech. Okay. It won't work for me because I have too much going on in my life right now. I don't have time to go for another program. All right. As though that as though they are the only person who's really busy, yeah? Okay. Okay. So it won't work for me because I'm an extrovert. So therefore, it won't work for me. It won't work for me. You know, whatever the reason that people come out with about themselves, right? List it down. List it down there. The second part is, it's easy for you. So this one is for you or others. The belief that they have about you, the provider, right? Or you as a consultant. Like some people will say this, I mean, it's easy for you because you've been doing this for a few years already. So content is easy. Yeah. It's easy for you because it's easy for other people because they have time. It's easy for other people because they, you know, they can just outsource the work, you know. So those are belief, guys. It's not facts, huh? So list it down. What are some of the beliefs that they might have about you or other people that's stopping them from purchasing and buying the product? All right. So if you guys notice this, just by listing down this belief, right? All of this belief can become a content that you can create. All right. So it's always about identifying where they are first. Okay. The third thing that they might want to look into is that they might have a belief about your product, the opportunity that you're giving to them. Okay. You know, I don't feel that your product will work for me because, you know, I've been doing this before. I've met up with other guru before. So all these other guru have disappointed me, you know. So therefore, I won't go into your program. So let's just say if you're selling coaching program like me. I've heard that before. You know, I went for this guru class and then after that, kena con. So you know what? I think you're also similar like all the other guru. That could be it. You know, your insurance product might not work for me because you know what? I met with other insurance before, all summer, all same. So it won't work for me. You know, all insurance, all liars. That could be it. List down what are the belief that they might have about your product and services. Okay. They might have a belief about your industry as well. They don't trust your industry. They don't trust people like you. So what are those beliefs? So you can list this down as well, guys. So this is number 4, yeah? It's step number 1. So you can list it down. I don't trust your industry because, you know, all guru the same. Okay? All insurance people are the same. Right? Whatever it is. Why do they say that? I don't trust people like you because, list it down. You guys? So it's important to understand the belief first. So once you understand the belief, this could be the content on its own, guys. Because now you understand where is their current state and where is their current belief. So before you push and talk about your product, you talk about this belief first. So that is step number 1. Step number 1, what you do is that you spend some time to identify the current belief of your audience. What is the current belief? So there are 4 of it. Belief they have about themselves, the belief they have about you as a seller or other people, the belief that they have about the opportunity, the product they give to them, the belief that they have about the industry, all of those listed down. The more you have, the merrier. Yeah. And what I really believe in when it comes to, you know, selling product nowadays and marketing product, is all about being able to clarify and articulate people's problem clearly to a point that they start to trust you because you know the problem better than them. So list down. This is very important stuff, guys. List down the current belief that they might have in regards to themselves, you, the opportunity, and also the industry. Once you have done this, then you go to step number 2, right? So you always go with the current pace of the belief. You list it down. All of those can become your content idea already, yeah? Okay. Example, you know, one of the beliefs that they might have is that all insurance agents are liars. That is a content, guys. So once you have identified their belief, then what do you do after that is that you want to identify the future them. What are the beliefs that you want to insert into them? Okay. So, example, just now I was like going to the weight loss, right? You know, keto, you know, weight loss will not work for me because I've tried exercising before. You know, I've done all of this, so therefore it won't work. So you want to change that, but you want to know what you want to change that to. Okay, you want to change it to something. So you want them to feel that the belief that they have, right? So you know what? I think maybe this keto might work for me because you know, I don't really need to exercise so much. It's just a matter of managing the portion and the food that I take, right? And managing the timing of the food intake as well. I think this could work. So this could work for me because you know what? It's more systematic. I don't have to torture my body, and therefore it will work for me. So notice what I do right now. From where their belief before this, I created another future pace. So it's always before and after, right? And then you list it down. It will work for me because why? And list down as many as you can, right? So notice that it's the same process, right? But we flip it, right? So once you list down all of this, then the next thing you want to do is that you want to list down what are the belief that what is the future belief that you want them to have when it comes to you and other people. Okay. And then flip it. What are the future beliefs that you want them to have in regards to the opportunity that you provided, your product and services? Right? Maybe you want to get them excited about the product and services. Hey, you know what? You know, I've met with the future pace that they have about you will be, I've met with a lot of other insurance agents before this, but now I trust you because you are not like the rest. You care about me and so forth. I believe that people in your industry, there are some bad apples, but there are a lot of good people out there. So that's the future belief you want to have. So list it down. What are the beliefs that they may have about your industry as well? So what I do is the moment I understand what's the problem, what is the belief that they have before this, and then I understand the belief that they have, that you want them to have in the future, then I will start putting that element into my actual content. Okay. So what we do in our program is that we kind of like teach our students to have this 6-step belief shifting framework when we are creating content. And what I really like about it, once you understand the framework, right, it's very easy for you to come up with content. It's just going to be like very fast. It doesn't take me more than 15 minutes to come up with like a long article because I know the content well. And what I do is that by just following the framework, all I need to do is just to follow the framework and start putting in all of it inside the content itself. The first part of your content is always about grabbing attention. You need to have the hook, right? So the hook could be a title, right? Or the first 3 statements that you put to grab the attention of your audience with a powerful statement that can hook their emotions. Okay. Example, let's just say going back to the weight loss just now. Yeah. Almost 90% of people that sign up for gym in the first 3 months will quit. There you go. That's a statement. All right. Then once you have come up with a statement, you want to go to the next part of your content where you talk about the problem, right? So what is the problem about? So the problem part is where you will speak to your ideal client's urgent problem. You grab attention by talking about a very specific problem that they have. People are always thinking, will this solve an urgent problem? Okay, that's something that you want to put into. So an urgent problem that they might have. Yeah. So going back to the example I gave to you just now. Do you know that almost 90% of people who sign up for the gym in the beginning of the year will quit 3 months later? One of the problems that a lot of people have when it comes to weight loss and taking care of their health is that they do not know specifically what to do. They follow the flow, and when people go and sign up to the gym, they also follow signing up to the gym because that's the only thing that they think they know when it comes to weight loss. It's not your fault. The problem is that a lot of the time, so now after I talk about the cause, I go into the talk about the problem, I go into the cause, right? The problem right now is that a lot of people, when they are going to their, when they are planning for their health and their exercise, they do not seek advice from the people that can give them specific advice. They decided to go to YouTube and they basically just do their self-studies and always come up with an assumption that this is the best way for them to lose weight. But that is not the best way on for you to lose weight, because the best way for you to lose weight is actually to talk to specific experts and also to experts and also subject matter expert that will be able to advise you on the best way on how to lose weight. So so you talk about the cause, right? Why it becomes a problem? So talk about it. So in the cause section, in this section, what you do is that you talk about why what they are currently doing to solve their problem is not working for them. Talk about that. I hope you guys are writing this down. And tell them how you discover what does work based on your experience. So going back to the weight loss. So based on my experience, what I noticed is that rather than just assuming that is the best way to do things, I actually went to a mentor to seek advice on what would be the best way for me to lose weight. Right? So you talk about the cause. Now, after you talk about the cause, you talk about the consequences. So what do you do in the consequences part of your content? You share some of the consequences of not solving the problem. Right? How this will affect them. If they stay the way they are, how are things staying the same, costing them more time, money, health, energy, etc. Yeah. So going back, so like what in my own personal content, like what I did just now, right? So, at the end of the day, because I do not want to seek professional advice, I ended up spending more time and energy trying to lose weight, but at the end of the day, I'm not getting the results that I wanted. So towards the end, I got demotivated because, I didn't see the results, right? So attention, problem, cause, consequences. And then after that, you go into the solution. So when you give the solution, here is the tip, guys. Every time when it comes to content, I never tell them the how. I always tell the why, and the why. So usually what I do in the solution is that I share high-level solution to the problem based on my experience. Here's the power in this, that ChatGPT and Google cannot, they cannot fight with you. So a lot of people, what you do is that when you share solution and the solution comes from your own experience, this is something that a lot of AI will not be able to give. Okay, so you want to share high-level solution to the problem based on your experience, based on your expertise, without going into the detail of the how. The specific how-to is what they need to work with you to get. Remember that, right? So at the end, you contextualize this by explaining other things in your solution. Example, in my next step, you also get this, right? So this is something that we actually teach our students to do. So the solution, right? Usually helicopter view, don't go into the details. And after that, always end it with a call to action. Yeah. So the action part is where you invite them to the next step. This could be downloading a free resource, registering to a free event, booking in for a strategy call with you, or a simple engagement request. It could be, if you like this content, share, comment, and like, etc. There you go. That's the framework, guys. And this is one of my favorite framework when it comes to creating content that shift belief, right? So here's the work again. So just to recap this again, yeah. To really utilize this framework, the first thing they want to do is list down all of the beliefs that your clients have about themselves, you, the industry, and so on. List it down as much as you can, because this can become your content for the next 1 year. Okay. Once you list that down, okay, then after that you list down what are the beliefs that you want them to have in regards to themselves, in regards to you, in regards to the content and so on, everything. You list it down and then put it into the framework, right? And when you write your copywriting, always make sure that you follow this 6 steps. You have an attention grabber. First statement is always about the problem, talk about the problem, and the cause of it, talk about that, and then list down the consequences of not taking action, the consequences of the problem, and then list down high-level solution, step number 5, and step number 6, come up with a call to action. So I hope that you guys have learned quite a bit of input from today's training session, right? Where I talk about, how you can shift the belief of your clients through content. At the end of the day, whatever that you learn, the most important part is implementation. Implement it, start doing it. Have a good week, guys. Bye.